Gold and silver have been bouncing around a bit today, with silver's price reaching a pivotal number. I'm going to explain what happened today and what we can expect from here on out. And I'm also going to talk about my big balls. So let's explore. That's right, silver's price did reach $38 an ounce today. We can celebrate, but nonetheless it did pull back. In fact, it's been a rocky road for silver today. Moments before the markets close, we can see silver moving in the exact opposite direction of gold today. Gold is down 0.33%, down $11.30 right now, moments before the markets close, at $3,370.10. Silver, though, is up 0.09%, up 3 cents right now to $37.89. That's 11 cents shy of the $38 mark, where it reached earlier today. The low for today was at $37.55. So we're now starting to solidify $37 as a sort of a pivotal price here, that we're seeing new support in that area. It's pretty encouraging to see. Platinum and palladium have worked in opposite directions too, with platinum now rising up $17 a day, a 1.29% rise in the price to $1,344. And palladium fell $31 a day, down over 2%, the big loser of the day. The big winner of the day is rhodium. It's up 1.89% to up $125 to $7,175. Gold and silver, though, are the metals you want to watch here, and it has been an amazing ride, a roller coaster ride if you look at the charts for gold and silver today. And the gold price rose against a weaker dollar on Wednesday, slipping from yesterday's multi-week high for non-U.S. investors as global stock market rallied ahead of U.S. President Trump's latest wave of trade tariffs coming into force, with further sanctions being discussed to end Russia's war on Ukraine. While gold and silver bullion are exempt from Trump's tariffs, U.S. imports of other goods and global refining giant Switzerland now face a 39% charge thanks to Washington mistakenly including precious metal flows into their math, according to Bloomberg analysis. Now, that is going to be something that is going to maybe, once it starts to digest, because today is the first day that a lot of these tariffs will actually take effect, and the repercussions of which will be studied to see what's going to happen. Transshipment tariffs charging an additional 40% on goods believed to have originally came from the world's #1 gold consumer, China, could prove economically devastating for countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia, and Malaysia, according to Pan Yatim, associate professor at Malaysia's Graduate School of Business, from this piece here from the United Kingdom's Adrian Ash at Bullion Vault. So we're getting a perspective from Europe on this, and typically, their view of tariffs is going to hurt them more than us, and I think that is one of the factors of this, that some of these companies are not necessarily just going to translate and send all of that pain to us. Tariffs are indeed taxes, but nonetheless, some of these companies will eat at least some of it, I feel, in order to remain competitive. But the price of silver has rallied in dollar terms, peaking with 5 cents up $38 per troy ounce, a new 14-year high, when crossed this time last month, while the S&P and U.S. stocks reversed the last of Friday's sudden 1.6% plunge. And with the MSCI World Index of Western Economy stock markets as a group rising for only the second time in 8 sessions, the dollar price of gold rose within $10 of Tuesday's 2-week peak at $3,390 per troy ounce at the writing of that piece. But nonetheless, we're watching these things pretty closely here, and channel sponsor Summit Metals is one place you can go to look whenever there are dips in the market, or for any time you're in the budget to buy precious metals. Check them out. Great customer service and fast shipping. Now, the dollar is declined to 7 session lows on its DXY index, saw gold prices decline against non-U.S. currencies, falling through 2,900 euros after hitting a 6-week high yesterday of 29.31 for German, French, Italian, and Spanish investors. And that's just it. Looking at the price of precious metals in dollar terms is what we do here, because that is how they are priced mostly on the global market. But you want to look at your currencies as well too, and it's very interesting to see the dollar compared to other currencies and the strength of it. And right now we're seeing it now down 0.51% to 98.24, that dollar index. Now keep in mind, Trump's least worry is about the dollar's strength compared to other currencies. In fact, I think likely he wants a lower dollar. He's not been shy about talking about that. We know that from his first term. I've talked about that before on this channel during his first term about what's going on there. So gold and silver indeed are reacting here today, and it has been a mixed bag, sending mixed signals. But I really do think this is about what's going on with the global supply chain in regards to tariffs. I think that's what the biggest concern is right now, because there's new data, new information, new executive orders on new tariffs, some of it as being used as a weapon as well as sanctions, and that is part of what's playing out. In other words, we don't really have anything set in stone yet. We don't know the outcome of the latest rounds of tariffs. The big October 1st or August 1st deadline has now passed, and now is the beginning of implementation through October. So I really don't think we're going to get anything normal settling in until October. And even so, it may take a while after that till we can find out what the repercussions are going to be. And this is uncharted territory. There's not been this much tariffs implemented. And of course, some of those tariffs will be challenged by the U.S. Congress. And I believe, and that is something that very well could mean that some of them may be rolled back. I don't know. We're going to see how that plays out. I think Trump is using a stipulation under his executive powers to make these things happen, but certainly it's going to be challenged whether you agree with him or not. We know that's going to come up, and we'll see how that plays out. So India is another area that is we're looking at here, especially with regards to sanctions and tariffs. There's no question that India is a major transshipment and processing hub for Russian oil, according to Robin Brooke, a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute think tank and a former FX strategist, U.S. investment bank Goldman Sachs. But hitting India with secondary tariffs is something Putin loves. Better to hit Russia directly by sanctioning the shadow fleet of aging tankers whose ownership is hidden, and in which avoid using services like Western companies. Well, if they're shadow, how do we have access to them? I don't know. But anyways, with Russia making solid advancements in eastern Donetsk, they're making advancements in the war with Ukraine while launching a record number of drone attacks on Ukraine this month. Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff today held useful talks with Russia's President Putin in Moscow. So hopefully this means that something that they're talking, that maybe a deal will be made. And honestly, there is a situation where both countries can come out ahead. Both can declare victory in their own way with obvious lost territory in eastern Ukraine. And that will be really good for a lot of different areas of the economy. Obviously, you have to recover from the war scars left there and the massive loss of life. But it would be good for the world if we could see that war end. And so this is what we're looking at here with the precious metal prices. It's been a wild day in the marketplace for sure. Both gold and silver have seen massive drops and spikes through the course, with medium to high trading during the course of that time. So mixed signals being sent here, as we are now just 9 cents away from silver reaching that critical $38 an ounce again. If we can get to 38 again and hold on for a while, that's going to solidify that support. Right now, we're seeing the solidification of support in the $37 range. And as we head in through the rest of the summer months here, we very well may see some of this play out into where it may stay in this area, which would be very good news, resting at essentially a 14-year high for silver's price. Now, the other thing we have to think about is the Fed and what they're going to do in the September 17th meeting. Some of this is somewhat baked in as to the expectations that they're going to lower rates a quarter point. And I think some of this is continuing to be baked in, and some of the pricing that we're seeing for silver buoying it up here above that $37 mark, which means by the time that rate cut does happen, we're not going to see a whole lot of movement in silver's price, because everybody's expecting growing expectations that they're going to cut rates at least in September, and more likely probably in the next meeting after that. In other words, a half-point rate cut for 2025. I think that's what's going to happen here. So Trump would like to see it move a lot lower than that. But hey, we're going to take what we can get. Now, what about my big balls? That's right, I'm going to talk about them. That's right. You may notice in some of my videos, I have these orbs here. These are just cheap stone orbs that I've gotten. And I got some of these that are kind of the grayish color here. So people have been asking about these. I'm not sure exactly what stone it's made of, some sort of marble or onyx or something like that, but it's they're relatively cheap, putting them up over here just sort of as a background. And I wanted to put them back behind here to give you a little something else to look at, but that's what that's about. And what's also fascinating is that, the Big Balls moniker, you've heard that, and that is a 19-year-old person that was hired for Doge. I guess it started out as an intern. Now they're hired, I believe, with the Social Security Administration. Well, it turned out that Big Balls himself is far more strong and sturdy than these balls right here, and is living up to his name, as he has defended, I think, a woman who was carjacked and got beat up, but held his own, was able to I think, I don't know exactly the full details of the story, but he suffered some wounds in that fight, and helped to defend the honor of somebody who is being carjacked. God bless him. I tell you what, that's the kind of people we need in Washington. The guy's 19 years old, tough, and to be able to do that, that guy deserves some sort of accommodation. Not only is he serving in Doge to help bring accountability to spending in government, which is much overdue and should really be pursued a whole lot more. And I hope that it's still in effect, strong, and continues to be utilized and implemented. We need Doge, no question about that. But this individual himself is a hero in my book. So thank God for Big Balls. I'll just leave it at that. Post that in the comment section down below, by the way. Thank God for Big Balls in this situation. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.